When the conversation of the closest player to Michael Jordan is brought up, we are usually referring to their style of play. Now also factoring in mentality, and the answer is obviously Kobe Bryant. However, what if we determine the closest player to Jordan only off production and stats? Well then, in that case, the answer might change. Sometimes it's easy to notice greatness when it's in the moment. When Steph Curry turned into the Human Torch during the 2016 season, everyone knew that they were watching something that they had never seen before. It was such a spectacle that there was no way it could go unnoticed. Now compare that to what Jokic was doing during the early years of this decade, and even though he was winning MVPs, it took much later until everyone came aboard to appreciate the fact that we were watching something truly special. Sometimes greatness can go unnoticed, and maybe unnoticed isn't the right word, and underappreciated fits better. However, the point of all this is that we are in the midst of another all-time great going unnoticed in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai is currently on his 4th season in a row, averaging 30 points per game on over 50% shooting from the field. The only guard to ever have this many seasons of doing that was Michael Jordan, who did it 5 times in a row. Shai is also averaging the least amount of turnovers per game in a season, with only 1.8 for anyone who has ever averaged 30 points per game in a season. You know who held the previous record? Shai from 2 seasons ago. And before that? Well, Michael Jordan in '96. In fact, the top 6 seasons of all time are held by either Michael Jordan or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And comparisons between Michael Jordan and SGA are not enough to truly show how historical Shai has been. When just looking at the regular season, 2015-16 Curry is often viewed as the highest peak for a guard in a single season, as he won 73 games, a unanimous MVP, and averaged 30 points per game on 50-40-90. Not to mention he also sat out 20 fourth quarters that season, which means he missed about 25% of all fourth quarters. Well, we are only 18 games in, and Shai has already missed 11 fourth quarters. Oh, and he's also averaging 30 a game on 50-40-90. Additionally, let me tell you about this little advanced stat called EPM. Now many of you have probably never heard of this, but it stands for estimated plus minus and measures box score and on-off impact. It was voted by a panel of NBA executives, coaches, and analysts as the second best advanced stat. The only one voted higher was Darko, but that's more of a predictive tool for estimating future impact rather than an in-the-moment stat for measuring current impact, which is what EPM does. At the moment, EPM is probably the single best advanced stat that we currently have. Well, I say all that to say this. The earliest season tracked is 2001-2002. Since then, the highest EPM ever recorded was Curry in 2016 when he recorded an EPM of 10.5. While Shai this season currently has an EPM of 10.7. Now, so far it has only been 18 games, while Curry was able to keep that up for an entire season. And obviously advanced stats don't mean everything, but just the fact that Shai is currently the all-time leader is insane. Jordan, Kobe, Magic, and Curry, these 4 are almost universally recognized as the 4 greatest guards ever. However, from what we've seen from SGA during these past couple of years, you could say that outside of these 4, Shai is peaking higher than any other guard in NBA history. Shai has a real shot of winning another MVP and championship this year. In fact, considering how SGA is only 27 years old, and considering all the talent, assets, and draft capital OKC has, it's very possible that Shai could accomplish this many more times. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and comment down below how high do you think Shai will be on the all-time list when it's all said and done. Until then, see y'all later.